Bogdan was averaging 19 cars during rush hour, and we are already up to 22 actual cars. Last night, I deposited $3,800. Jesus. How much is that?
$274,000. Give or take.
Give or take?
Yeah. I haven't counted it.
Wait. 274, and this is how often?
Every 2 weeks. Thursday's good for a drop-off.
Wait, Walt. Are you telling me you make $7,125,000 a year?
7.5 even, before expenses.
But I can't. This is too much.
So it's more than you thought, and this is somehow bad news.
No, that's not the point. I mean, there is no car wash in the world that could do this kind of business. I mean, this is 9 months' work here minimum. $7 million? That could take years.
So set some aside, save it for a rainy day.
Save it. Where? Save it where? I can't go to the bank with it. I sure can't leave it here. Wait a minute. Is this all 50s? Who pays for a car wash with a 50?
Skylar, I didn't ask you to do this. I was under the impression that you had this under control.
I just didn't expect this amount of money. The 50s are going to be a problem.
Well, that's what this is, problem solving. Skylar, this is a simple division of labor. I bring in the money, you launder the money. This is what you wanted.
I never wanted any of this.
I've got to go. If you want out, just say that you want out.
You're telling me you made this in the lab?
Why not? Making it in his own lab seemed appropriate.
There's not much of it. We had more for Tuco.
It's enough. This is still the best way. You go after him with a gun, you'll never get out of it alive. But with this, you slip it into his food or drink. There shouldn't be any taste or smell. 36 hours later, poof. A man his age, working as hard as he does, no one will be surprised.
What about Mike?
Mike can have his suspicions, but that's all they'll be. Please, one homicidal maniac at a time.
I don't even know when I'm going to see Gus again. I mean, if ever.
Keep it with you. When you have the opportunity, be ready.
What if they search me?
Will they do that? It's wrong way around.
It's my lucky cigarette.
Well, whatever you do, don't smoke it.
Right here. Leave the wrap on, please.
You know how to make coffee?
Sure.
There you go. You want a rundown?
Please.
3 guys up at the gate, 2 visible, 1 in the blind. We got 5 guys down here with a backup out of sight. We got Tyrus down in the tree line, buried 50. Landed him there last night in case we have any early arrivals.
I'd like to record this conversation if that's okay.
Of course.
The DEA is working on an investigation which may overlap with my own, so I've asked them to sit in with us today.
Gus, we all appreciate your coming in here to talk to us, but you have the right to have an attorney present also.
Oh, well, I can't see how that would be necessary. But then again, I have no idea why I'm here.
So you wish to continue?
Please, I'm very anxious to find out what this is all about.
Sir, your fingerprints were found at a crime scene.
Really? That's surprising.
A drug-related homicide.
Gail Bedeker's apartment.
So you knew the victim.
"15 years ago, I established a chemistry scholarship at UNM. I named it after Maximino Arciniega, a dear friend of mine who died too young. Gail was a recipient of this scholarship. He was perhaps one of 3 dozen.
I see. And Mr. Bedeker graduated in...
1999.
That sounds right.
And you kept in regular contact with him over all this time?
Oh, no, I hadn't seen Gail for years, till I ran into him a few weeks ago.
Ran into him where?
At the restaurant. Well, ran into isn't quite accurate, as I assume he came by to reestablish contact with me. We caught up briefly, and he invited me to dinner the following night, and I accepted. It was perhaps a week later I read about him in the paper. Drug-related, you say?
It's a good possibility.
The paper made no mention of that. I assumed that it was a random crime.
So after years of no contact, he shows up in your restaurant, remakes your acquaintance, and invites you to dinner?
Yeah, he wanted money.
Gail Bedeker asked you for money?
Well, he didn't come right out and say that. He spoke in terms of a vague investment opportunity, but it was my suspicion, yes, as to why he invited me into his home. He was a very, very talented chemist. But for reasons I never understood, he was more interested in taking shortcuts than what would or could have been a very promising career. But personal shortcomings notwithstanding, he was a warm, gentle person, and I thought a lot of him. At any rate, I declined his business offer, and after what was a very pleasant meal, left.
Can you tell us where you were on the night of Wednesday the 23rd at around 8 p.m.? Not an accusation, just a question.
Oh, I understand. Let's see. 23rd. I was at a fundraiser at Presbyterian Hospital. I was there from 7 to about 10.
Anyone else?
Sorry, yeah, just one other thing. Is Gustavo Fring your real name?
Is it my real name?
I know you're a Chilean national, but there are no records of you ever living there.
Really?
I mean, records show that you immigrated to Mexico in 1986, and then a couple years later you were granted an entry visa to the United States. But there's no record of Gustavo Fring ever having existed in Chile, which I find, I don't know, strange.
Well, really, it isn't. General Pinochet's government was guilty of a great many sins. First and foremost were its human rights abuses. But it was also notoriously unreliable at keeping records. I'm sure if you keep digging, you'll find me.
Okay, I think that's it, Gus. Thank you.
I hope that I was of some small help.
You were, absolutely. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Good to see you again. Oh, no, please don't get out.
Thanks.